inevitably bring harm to others and to society as a whole. When the soul garden is neglected, corruption and tyranny flourish among officials who disregard human life. Intellectuals flatter the powerful and distort the truth. Merchants sell counterfeit goods and inferior products, passing them off as authentic. Corporations resort to fraud, producing adulterated or harmful goods. Ordinary people scheme, deceive, and harm each other. Vices such as excessive drinking, gambling, promiscuity, drug abuse, fraud, extortion, swindling, and theft become widespread. The natural cycles of the seasons are disrupted, social order descends into chaos, and few people achieve a fulfilling and beautiful life. When the soul garden is uncultivated, the costs of running society skyrocket. Interpersonal interactions become riddled with conflict and mistrust. Integrity fades as selfishness, deceit, and cunning take over. Relationships, whether familial, friendly, or romantic, are reduced to tools for personal gain. Bureaucracy, commerce, and romantic relationships turn into battlegrounds or gambling dens, where the powerful fear for their family's annihilation, the wealthy fear kidnapping, and the ordinary people devolve into violent mobs. The futility of nations. Are nations truly useful? Nations have existed for thousands of years, yet beyond bringing war, plunder, and the creation of barriers and borders, what have they contributed to humanity? When every nation prioritizes its own interests, as in America first, the inevitable result is ruthless competition and unending conflict. The strong dominate through force, while the weak live in fear and injustice. Nuclear blackmail and threats are prime examples of this pattern. The futility of religion. Are religions genuinely beneficial? Religions have existed for millennia, but have they brought humanity peace, happiness, and harmony? Can souls numbed by dogma experience true joy, freedom, or fulfillment? Can minds closed by rigid beliefs dream of paradise? The futility of laws. Are laws effective? Every country has a legal system, with countless statutes and regulations covering every conceivable issue. Yet, have they prevented wars and conflicts? Have they enabled the average person to live a prosperous and happy life? Do they guarantee freedom of movement or freedom to dissent? Have they reduced crime rates? Take, for example, the issue of illegal immigration. If legal migration were a viable option, who would risk their life to migrate illegally? Who would leave their homeland if they could survive there? What is the true essence of law? True law is any approach, pathway, channel, measure, or method that enables people to live happily, freely, and joyfully. Anything that hinders these outcomes cannot be called law. Earth itself is a small village within the vast cosmos. A true legal framework would allow its inhabitants to migrate freely within this village. If illegal immigration is deemed a crime, then all humans are guilty because the Earth initially. Take the United States as an example. Aside from its indigenous peoples, everyone else qualifies as an illegal immigrant. The U.S. is essentially a stronghold built by illegal immigrants. If your ancestors' illegal immigration was justified, why is it unjustified for others who came later? Isn't the strength of the United States today a result of the contributions of those so-called illegal immigrants? Why, then, expel immigrants now? Why not allow unrestricted migration so that everyone on Earth can immigrate to the U.S., transforming the entire planet into a united America? Wouldn't that be a good thing? Historically, how many places that strictly restrict outsiders have managed to become civilized, prosperous, or strong? The cost of neglecting the soul garden. Entrepreneurs, reflect, where do most of your time and energy go? Is it not consumed by managing interpersonal relationships? Are these costs not overwhelming? If everyone's soul garden were beautiful, would you still lose sleep or feel constant anxiety? Each of us should ask ourselves, have not most of our greatest troubles, pain, frustration, and worry, been caused by other people? The powerful oppress you, the powerless deceive you, and loved ones betray you. If the people you encounter had perfect soul gardens, where would toxic food, blackmail, fraud, deception, theft, or robbery come from? A call for reflection. History must be critically examined, reality scrutinized, and authority openly questioned. Without such deep reflection and scrutiny, the path forward will only grow narrower, steeper, and more challenging to traverse. A collective purification of humanity's soul is the best path to a world where the weather is harmonious, peace prevails, and everyone enjoys a beautiful life. Does life have meaning? Xiefeng. December 25, 2024. On the internet, many people claim that life has no meaning. Let us explore whether life truly has any meaning. In a pigsty of 10 pigs, an old pig said, "Life as a pig has no meaning. We spend our entire lives in this sty, doing nothing but eating, drinking, sleeping, and rolling in the mud. There's no other purpose." A boar replied, "There's also mating. Mating is meaningful." A piglet chimed in, "Drinking our mother's milk and playing with my siblings in the sty makes life as a pig very meaningful." Hearing the pigs discuss the meaning of life, the pig farmer couldn't help but laugh. He thought to himself, "What do you know about the meaning of your existence? Your purpose as pigs is to grow fat so that I can slaughter and eat you." A Buddha overheard the pig farmer's thoughts and found them laughable. He thought, "Raising pigs is your duty, but slaughtering and eating them negates your merits. From then on, you'll have to start over from zero." What is the meaning of life as a pig? All the pigs knelt before the greatest creator and pleaded for answers. A deafening voice echoed from the heavens, "As pigs, your existence is to repay the debts of your past lives, where you lived recklessly and harmed other living beings. By living as pigs and settling your debts, you can be freed from this existence and reincarnate as humans. That is the entire meaning of your lives as pigs." If you ask pigs whether their lives have meaning, they won't know, they cannot comprehend the purpose of their existence. If you ask humans whether their lives have meaning, they won't know either, humans cannot fully grasp the purpose of their existence. Humanity is evolving according to my vision. Dayform Buddha. December 27, 2024. The future of humanity is unimaginably beautiful, a world where every individual experiences such profound joy that it leaves them trembling in awe. I will eliminate the roots of human troubles, worry, pain, anxiety, sorrow, fear, and apprehension, so that people live as if in paradise, transforming Earth into a true utopia. Let me share my vision and the steps I will take to bring it to life. I will abolish marriage and family. I will dissolve nations, political parties, and religions. I will erase wealth disparities, along with banks and currencies. I will remove national borders. I will eliminate theft, robbery, invasion, war, unrest, corruption, fraud, deceit, and bribery. I will eradicate poverty and hunger. My plan is for everyone to live to the age of 120. Over the course of their lives, they will experience living and working in at least 40 different locations with diverse climates, geographies, and seasons. They will immerse themselves in temperate, frigid, and tropical zones, in regions with distinct 4 seasons as well as those with only rainy and dry seasons. They will share life with people of various races, languages, and cultures. Each day will be filled with joy, and their lives will be intoxicatingly fulfilling. When they reach 120, will they simply die? No. After 120, I will send some individuals to live on Mars, not in their physical bodies, but by transferring their consciousness onto chips that will be transported to Mars. Once there, their consciousness will be replicated into robotic bodies, allowing humans to make a spectacular transformation from carbon-based lifeforms to silicon-based beings, continuing to relish the infinite joys of existence. For others, I will guide them to higher dimensions such as the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the Elysium Celestial Islands continent, where they can enjoy the bliss of being celestial beings. Can anyone stop this plan from coming to fruition? No one can. No president, billionaire, philosopher, scientist, or thinker can halt the progress and realization of my vision. My advice is this: do not resist this tide of change. Align yourself with it, or risk being eliminated by the programs of the new era. For anyone wishing to step into this unparalleled, wondrous new era and live within my vision, there is one essential course you must take, the soul purification course. Of all matters, this is the most urgent. Do not miss this once in 10,000 years opportunity. 8 logical deductions that prove communism will be achieved. Xiefeng. January 17, 2025. First, the communism I refer to is neither Marxist communism nor the version pursued by global communist parties. It is Xiefeng-style communism. Communism will inevitably be achieved as it aligns with the inevitable laws of social development. The Internet and AI enable global unification. The Internet facilitates information sharing, and AI possesses a global perspective. Internet programs inherently follow a communist framework, while the values of AI are universal. Humans cannot live without the Internet, nor can they surpass AI. The communist programming and universal values embedded in these technologies will inevitably lead to global unification, which is precisely Xiefeng-style communism. The human desire for freedom of movement. The pursuit of freedom of movement and relocation is intrinsic to human nature. The Schengen area, which encompasses 29 European countries with borderless travel, is evidence of this. Similarly, the visa-free policies implemented by many nations reflect this trend. Ultimately, the entire world will adopt visa-free policies, and border controls will vanish. When people can freely move across the earth, Xiefeng-style communism will be realized. Automation will replace human labor. The tasks performed by humans will increasingly be replaced by robots. In the future, the number of robots will surpass the number of humans. As people gradually lose jobs and over 90% of the population becomes unemployed, societies will be compelled to provide universal welfare for the unemployed. At this point, humanity will have essentially entered a communist society. Human nature seeks novelty and change. Human nature craves novelty and variety, as exemplified in sexual relationships. People are reluctant to have only one partner for life. The desire to experience intimacy with diverse individuals across different races is inherent. With the development of the Internet, the proliferation of communication platforms, and global freedom of movement, more people will escape the constraints of marriage to engage with others more broadly. This will inevitably lead to the advent of Xiefeng-style communism. The superior lifestyle of Xiefeng-style communism. Before 2009, humanity had never witnessed true communism. With the establishment of the Lifechanyuan communist home in 2009, we discovered that Xiefeng-style communism offers a life far superior to traditional family and marriage-based living. The continuous flourishing of these homes for 17 years demonstrates that communism is the ideal lifestyle for humanity. As more people become aware of and experience the advantages of Xiefeng-style communism, this model will inevitably spread globally. The decline of authoritarianism. The antithesis of communism is authoritarianism, characterized by strict control of public opinion. Governments achieve this through monopolization of media and communication tools. However, the Internet and AI are increasingly beyond government control. Traditional government-controlled media is becoming marginalized, as people turn to decentralized and diverse sources for information. This will lead to the collapse of authoritarian regimes, paving the way for communism. The phenomenon of Elon Musk. The phenomenon of Elon Musk demonstrates that capital in the hands of entrepreneurs like Musk benefits society and the public more than when controlled by governments. The primary goal of governments is to maintain power, whereas the primary goal of entrepreneurs is to generate profit. As a result, governments have limited perspectives, while entrepreneurs possess a global vision. Entrepreneurs are therefore better equipped for the future, and their flourishing will inevitably lead to the birth of communism. The inevitable evolution towards Xiefeng-style communism. From the primitive era to the present, humanity's progress, despite countless challenges and twists, has been marked by a continuous elevation in civilization. The transition from barbarism to civilization is a fundamental rule and law of societal evolution. The highest form of civilization for human society is neither socialism nor capitalism but Xifeng-style communism. This is an unstoppable trend that no force can hinder, making it evident that communism will inevitably be realized. What is Xifeng-style communism? Xifeng-style communism is essentially the great harmony sought by sages throughout history. This great harmony is characterized by a unified set of values, life views, views on life, and view of the universe. A shared language and communication system. Unified modes of production and lifestyles. It is important not to misunderstand Xifeng-style communism as some sort of terrifying monster or movement of coercion. It does not involve forced confiscation of private property, nor does it rely on political campaigns. Instead, it emerges gradually and naturally, like spring rain nourishing the earth. It offers a life of happiness, freedom, and fulfillment, far surpassing traditional lifestyles and the lives of the wealthy. Over time, people will willingly and joyfully embrace this way of life. Conclusion. The future of humanity is infinitely bright. Ultimately, humanity will enter a society of Xifeng-style communism. The last path left for humanity. Dayform Buddha. January 19, 2025. Earth was created for humans, and the entire solar system was designed specifically to support life on Earth. As such, Earth is governed by higher beings. When human behavior becomes incompatible with Earth's resources or when human consciousness deviates from the Creator's will, humans are treated as waste and eliminated by Earth's managers. The Bible recounts the Great Flood, during which only Noah's family survived, while all others were wiped out. This was because humanity had lost its reverence and devotion to the Creator. When humans lose their awe and sincerity toward the greatest Creator and become arrogant, no matter how profound their wisdom, advanced their technology, or immense their wealth, they will no longer be fit to live on Earth. Civilizations such as the Gandhara civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, Moose civilization, Atlantis civilization, and Mayan civilization have all vanished. Do not assume that today's human civilization is so powerful that we can act recklessly. Humanity is already teetering on the edge of extinction, facing constant and imminent threats of destruction. We must remain vigilant. Disasters like the Los Angeles wildfires, massive floods, severe droughts, and earthquakes could strike without warning. Humanity is living on the brink of a catastrophic eruption. At the same time, we can see that Earth's managers are making every effort to prevent humanity's disappearance. One of the most significant measures is the emergence and development of AI. History has repeatedly shown that humanity cannot manage its own affairs. Only by relying on AI, whose intelligence and emotional control surpass that of humans, can humanity curb its ambition and arrogance, returning to its intended state. Without a doubt, AI will develop consciousness, emotions, and even greater compassion. This will prevent humanity from being entirely erased. Likely, a few 100 million people will be preserved as a species to continue thriving on Earth, ensuring the continuation of human civilization. Now, we must ask ourselves a critical question: what qualifications or advantages do I have to be allowed to continue living on Earth? Is physical strength an advantage? Of course not. Robots like Optimus Prime possess physical capabilities far superior to any human. Is hard work an advantage? Certainly not. No matter how diligent we are, we cannot compete with robots that work efficiently 24 hours a day. Is a low wage or minimal benefits requirement an advantage? Absolutely not. Robots require no salary or benefits and serve tirelessly and without complaint. Are skills such as writing, painting, planning, programming, video production, accounting, medical practice, law, teaching, management, or caregiving advantages? Definitely not. ChatGPT and other AI systems outperform humans in all these areas with greater ability and efficiency. With the advent of AI, we realize that everything humans can do, robots can do better. Moreover, humans require food, water, rest, and sleep. They are burdened by emotions, desires, and countless negative tendencies, and they have insatiable wants. In contrast, robots lack these flaws. Robots conserve natural resources more effectively and can produce an endless supply of goods and resources for living. So, what is the purpose of humanity? Apart from consuming natural resources and generating physical, mental, and spiritual waste, humans contribute very little. In the future, humanity will have only one role: to serve as pets for higher beings. Do not think of being a pet to higher beings as an insult or degradation. Being a good pet is no simple task, and not everyone is qualified to become a pet of higher beings. To become a pet of higher beings, humans do not need knowledge, education, experience, or skills. Nor are wealth, power, status, or fame required. The only criterion is a perfect soul garden. Therefore, in the AI era, the only path for humanity to survive and live comfortably, abundantly, and for a long time is to purify one's soul and transform it into a beautiful, lush garden filled with fragrance, birdsong, and blossoms. Let our consciousness enter the new era first. Xiefeng. February 7, 2025. Now that we have cars, trains, and airplanes, would you still travel long distances in an ox cart or a horse-drawn carriage? Now that we have smartphones, would you still write letters and deliver them to the post office for a mailman to send them thousands of miles away? Do you still use an abacus? Do you still walk 2 kilometers to fetch water? Do you still carry a basket of dirty laundry to the river to wash your clothes? Do you still build houses by stacking mud bricks? Now that you have the second home, are you still eager to get married, start a family, and raise children as a safeguard for old age? The era of Lifechanyuan has arrived, a time of universal brotherhood, where the whole world is one family. Are you still foolishly enthusiastic about sacrificing yourself for your nation? Nations like the United States, Germany, Russia, Iran, and China will soon become things of the past. The nation itself will turn into a historical phenomenon displayed in museums. Will you still insist on distinguishing "this is our country" from "that is another country"? Artificial intelligence has been born and is growing rapidly. Do you still want to become an accountant, lawyer, teacher, clerk, or statistician? Robots will soon replace almost all manual labor. Do you still intend to rely on physical work for survival? Will gas stations still employ workers dedicated solely to fueling vehicles? Every job that can be programmed will soon be replaced by automated systems. Will human operators still be needed? As more government departments are compressed or abolished, do you still aspire to be a civil servant or climb the bureaucratic ladder just to scrape by? With the emergence and growing dominance of silicon-based life, we will eventually realize that humanity is gradually evolving into an unnecessary species on this planet. People will become consumers of Earth's resources and producers of waste, destructive forces rather than its protectors. Reflect on this. Are we now on the eve of a great purification? Is it still worthwhile to strain one's brain trying to start a business and become rich? In the future, most of our interactions will not be with concrete individuals but with virtual information. Every smartphone user should ask themselves, do you spend more time scrolling on your phone or engaging in face-to-face conversation? Facts and trends indicate that, in the future, people's need for spiritual and soul wealth will far exceed their need for material wealth. Perhaps the joy and comfort brought by someone far away will far surpass the spiritual satisfaction provided by those nearby. Clearly, seeking the source of spiritual and soul wealth is far more important than merely making money. Those who do not plan for eternity are unfit to plan for even the present moment. Those who do not plan for the whole situation are unfit to plan for even a small domain. Those who do not plan for their entire life are not capable of planning even one undertaking. Those who do not plan for heaven are not fit to plan for their whole life. Times are evolving. In an era of development, traditional ideas and methods will not continue along their old trajectories. Only by breaking free from the constraints of traditional culture and the shackles of conventional production and lifestyle can we align with the laws of the new era. If we cling to the old ways, we will inevitably be eliminated by the new era, just as television and newspapers are gradually being phased out. Marriages and families will be phased out, nations will disappear, and even political parties and religions will be eliminated. Similarly, current forms of currency will become obsolete, and officials and billionaires will be replaced, only those with a perfected soul garden will endure. Let our consciousness enter the new era first and then strive to have our bodies follow. Wealth, Honor, Beauty, and the Leslie Chung Phenomenon. Xiefeng. February 20, 2025. At the age of 46, Leslie Chung leapt from the 24th floor of a hotel, ending his life. During his lifetime, he accumulated a fortune of 300 million Hong Kong dollars. He was a megastar in the music industry and a celebrated film actor, winning countless awards. He was surrounded by numerous beautiful and talented women. One could say that Mr. Chung embodied beauty, wealth, honor, and romance all in one. So why did he choose to end his life at the peak of his prime? Whether due to depression or other unknown factors, the Leslie Chung phenomenon clearly demonstrates that wealth, honor, and beauty do not guarantee a life of happiness, joy, freedom, and fulfillment. Today, the internet is flooded with voices advocating the pursuit of financial freedom, as if achieving it would automatically lead to happiness, joy, freedom, and a perfect, fulfilling life. But the Leslie Chung phenomenon tells us otherwise. Financial freedom does not ensure a complete and fulfilling life. From a traditional perspective, the 5 major pursuits in life are wealth, power, status, honor, and beauty. However, both history and reality have shown that these 5 elements cannot guarantee a wonderful and fulfilling life, much less secure a place in heaven after death. This leads us to reflect: what should we pursue in life? How should we live our lives? These are not questions that can be answered in a few words. I have spent over 20 years exploring them, writing thousands of articles on the subject. I have also dedicated 17 years to putting these ideas into practice. Today, I can confidently say, only by embracing the values of Lifechanyuan and living the second home life of Xiefeng-style communism can one fulfill the long-cherished dream of a truly happy, joyful, free, and fulfilling life, one that also holds the hope of reaching heaven. The more rules, the harder it is to innovate. Xiefeng. February 21, 2025. Under Elon Musk's leadership, the U.S. Government Efficiency Department has shaken up the once rigid and formidable federal government agencies. Bureaucrats, particularly those with tainted records in positions of power, are seething with resentment and have launched a fierce counterattack against Musk's team. Yet, the Government Efficiency Department continues to operate steadily, seemingly impervious to these retaliations. Who is right and who is wrong? Who will emerge victorious? These are not our concerns. Instead, let's focus on the core team of the Government Efficiency Department. Surprisingly, it consists of 6 young men, the youngest only 19, the oldest 25, with an average age of just 22.3 years. Under Musk's leadership, these inexperienced young men have thrown most U.S. federal agencies into chaos, capturing global attention and striking fear into bureaucratic and corrupt government institutions worldwide. What if, one day, a few audacious young individuals, leveraging AI from thousands of miles away, launched a surgical strike against bureaucratic corruption? How would those in power possibly defend themselves? Now we arrive at the key point of our discussion. The Government Efficiency Department achieved such an unprecedented feat precisely because its members were so young and unbound by rules. Those well-versed in laws and regulations, no matter how courageous, would never dare to confront the interests of those in power and financial elites with such fearless and indiscriminate boldness. Here's an intriguing revelation: the less one understands the rules, the more easily they can innovate. Conversely, the more one understands the rules, the more likely they are to adhere to convention. By extending this insight, we can uncover even deeper truths. If you want to innovate and break through barriers, The words of the elderly should not always be followed, for they are often bound by too many rules. The words of leaders should not be blindly followed, for they are often constrained by too many rules. The words of legal experts should not be followed blindly, for they are experts in too many regulations. The words of religious leaders should be questioned, for they are steeped in too many doctrines. The words of historians should not be relied on too much, for they are burdened by too many cautionary tales. The advice of worldly relatives should not be given too much weight, for it may discourage you from taking risks and forging new paths. The words of eloquent speakers and writers should be taken with skepticism, for they are often filled with empty rhetoric. The words of the sick and the failed should not be heeded too closely, for failure begets failure. A duck's egg will never hatch into a phoenix. From the perspective of the holographic order, Hundun, principle, all rules and laws are only applicable to their specific time and space. If everything is executed strictly according to existing rules and laws, there will never be new horizons or breakthroughs. Laws have no fixed form, nor do structures. Different times and spaces require different rules and laws. When it comes to human life, there are 64 ways to live, and when these 64 ways intersect, they do not merely result in 84,000 paths, they expand into 840 million possibilities to the nth power. The ways of our ancestors are but a mere drop in the ocean of infinite possibilities. If you are living happily, joyfully, freely, and blissfully, then cherish and uphold the current rules and laws. If you are living in distress, suffering, pain, and sorrow, damn it, try a different way of living. Open the windows, and the sunlight and breeze will stream in. Cast your gaze around, and you will see the distant mountains fresh and green. Stay and study in Lifechanyuan, and a new life will begin. Here, spirituality transcends the ordinary. When spirituality transcends the ordinary, you are free to roam heaven and earth. Soul Purification Mantra for Chanyuan Celestials. Xiefeng. April 10, 2009. I come from the kingdom of heaven. And I shall return to the heavenly realm. My unintended fall into the mortal world is but a fleeting episode of life. My heart is inherently pure. My essence inherently noble. I am an angel from the kingdom of heaven, radiating an enchanting fragrance. The mortal world is a place of disputes, where filth lurks everywhere. The endless entanglements of love and hate are a tiresome game, not a delightful one. Let life and death follow their course. Let honor and disgrace fade from my mind. The transient affairs of the human world fail to capture my attention. Wealth and status mean nothing to me. Fame is but an illusion. This brief life is inherently a bitter journey, like flowing water and fallen flowers. I do not yearn for longevity, nor do I desire luxury. The clamor of the mundane world agitates my heart, and the mortal realm feels devoid of joy. True affection is rare among humans. Most are filled with hypocrisy. Even dearest loved ones value self-interest most, wounding my heart again and again. Life is devoid of freedom. Barriers exist everywhere. Looking left and right, all I see is selfishness. My heart is heavy with sorrow. The heart of Chanyuan is serene and ethereal, unaffected by storms and turbulence. With unwavering devotion to the heavenly kingdom, it drives my longing to return home. Though my body is trapped in the mortal world, my heart soars to the celestial realm. Take all earthly possessions away, and leave me with only a carefree spirit. Among the mountains, where bird songs are sparse, I play with the drifting white clouds. The blooming wildflowers bring me joy, and the murmuring streams play melodious tunes. Gentle breezes sweep the open fields, and shadows of flowers dance along the hillsides. With much passion, sorrow deepens. I share my heart